So we're going to tie all of this together tonight: climate, weather, and lowering emissions from transportation. All of that together, underscoring that is our right to a clean and healthy environment. You've all read about the huge win recently in the youth-led climate trial in Montana. And if you were here a few minutes early, before we got started, there were a couple clips on that, video clips about that. Well, here to tell us about it and what it means for the Green Amendment in New Jersey, ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to welcome the founder of Green Amendments for the Generations, Delaware River waterkeeper, and a hero to all of us, Maya Van Rossum. Hi, Maya.
Hi, so glad to be here. So I have a little bit of a different approach because I guess I got the message differently about what you wanted me to talk about, but that's okay. We'll wrap it all up together. And I think where the mayor ended is a great place to start because he's looking for new ideas that he can add to his platform and help, carry the message on. And the Green Amendment here in the state of New Jersey is a great one for you to advance in your leadership role in politics. And especially if you do go on to become the governor, the support for a New Jersey Green Amendment would be powerful, important, historic, and a great legacy. So how's that for my start? So I am Maya Van Rossum. I've had the honor of the last 30 years of serving as the Delaware Riverkeeper and leader of the 4-state organization, the Delaware Riverkeeper Network. But as a result of that work, I've also founded the National Green Amendments for the Generations movement, which is all about the topic I'm going to talk about tonight. But I got only 10 minutes, and I'm going to try to keep it short because I know that time is getting on. So really quickly, right? We've been focusing a lot tonight on the climate crisis, but of course, across New Jersey, people are facing a lot of environmental issues, right? They're concerned about contaminated water and contaminated air, about the rising floodwaters, whether it's due to the climate crisis or the way we're developing our landscapes, expanding industries, their impacts on the environment, but also the quality of people's lives and much, much more. And so people really are struggling for what is that thing that I need to do to really make a difference in taking on the climate crisis, environmental justice issues, or environmental protection writ large. And the answer is we need to do everything. There is no one thing that we need to do, right? We need to continue our advocacy and our litigation and passing good legislation and enforcing that legislation and testifying and protesting and voting and all of that good stuff. But something that we also really, really need to do here in the state of New Jersey and in states across our nation is we need to transform our system of law and governance when it comes to the environment, environmental protection, environmental justice, and taking on the climate crisis. And transforming our system of laws and governance when it comes to the environment does not mean passing just one more law. The fact of the matter is we have hundreds of thousands of laws in the state of New Jersey. We've got laws and regulations and policies and programs and agencies that are all supposed to be dedicated to the environment and environmental protection. And yet we are still facing devastating harms when it comes to environmental protection and environmental justice. New Jersey is certainly doing its part, not just to advance good, clean energy, but also to exacerbate the climate crisis. There are plenty of bad things that are happening, like liquefied natural gas export facility proposals, for example. So the truth is, even if we pass one more law and it's a really, really great law, it's not going to be able to address all of the problems that we face. They're just too vast and we can't anticipate everything. The other thing we have to recognize when we think about our system of laws and governance here in New Jersey and how our environmental protection laws actually work. Not only can there be no one law that will cover every circumstance, every scenario, every issue, but the truth is that the way our laws are written here in New Jersey, the way they're written across the nation when it comes to the environment, is they're really focused on legalizing environmental pollution, degradation, and harm. You get the right reviews, the right permits, the right approvals from the right agency, you can inflict quite a bit of harm on our environment here in the state of New Jersey, especially when you put your industrial operation next to the 10 others that are already overwhelming some community or exacerbating some other harms. Our system of laws and governance here in New Jersey and nationwide, this is not just about New Jersey, this is every state across our nation. This is our federal environmental laws. All of our laws are focused on legalizing pollution, not preventing harm before it starts. There's sort of this assumption that pollution and degradation and harm is a foregone conclusion, rather than starting from the assumption and the question, do we actually need to allow it to happen in the first place? And often the answer, frankly, is no. And yet our laws don't lead us to that conclusion. Our system of laws also have a lot of gaps. And there are a lot of loopholes. There are a lot of industries intentionally written out of the laws. There are a lot of things that aren't regulated at all, right? A lot of people have been hearing about forever chemicals. At the Delaware Riverkeeper Network, we've been working on this issue, leading the way in the state of New Jersey for over a decade. We have forever chemicals proliferating, right? PFAS contaminants, PFAS, PFOA, PFNA, proliferating, this toxic man-made family of chemicals proliferating into our environment, in drinking water supplies, into the bodies of the people of New Jersey because of an absence of legislation or regulation to prevent this man-made of family chemicals from being manufactured and utilized in ways that is now inflicting such devastating consequences. It's only in recent years, through a lot of hard work by the Delaware Riverkeeper Network and others, that we actually have now New Jersey at the forefront of PFAS, PFOA, forever chemical regulations. But it's that absence, that gap in the law, that allowed us to so many people to suffer so many harm already right now today, and we're not going to really be able to roll back the clock, to be honest. So when it comes to environmental protection in New Jersey, when it comes to taking on the climate crisis and environmental justice, we really need transformational change. We need to change this system of laws and governance so it truly is focused on prevention of harm and protection of people. And green amendments, and a New Jersey green amendment specifically here in the state of New Jersey, are that change. What a green amendment is, it is a constitutional amendment that is added to the Bill of Rights section of our state constitutions, which recognize and protects the rights of all people to a clean, safe, and healthy environment, including a safe climate, and lifting up those rights so they are given the same highest constitutional standing, recognition, and protection as the other fundamental rights we hold dear, like the right to free speech, like the right to freedom of religion. Now, if you want to get this highest constitutional protection for our environmental rights, like we give to those other fundamental rights, there are essential criteria, what I call the Green Amendment criteria, that have to be met. I'm not going to go through those criteria tonight. That's another talk. But we have to fulfill these key criteria in order to have language that's going to make a meaningful difference in terms of our Constitution. But when we pass constitutional language, we add it to the Bill of Rights section of our Constitution that clearly recognizes and protects our environmental rights. We empower our laws when it comes to environmental protection, and we empower our people as they seek to advocate for protection of the environment. Legally, we literally do raise up our rights to clean water and clean air, a safe climate, and healthy environments. So they are given highest constitutional standing, recognition, and protection, and enforceability by the people in the same way we give this highest constitutional protection to those other fundamental rights we hold dear. We all know how powerfully the rights to free speech and freedom of religion are protected. Well, now we give that same power to the environment. With a constitutional green amendment in place, all government officials at every level of government will become constitutionally bound. I mean, the local town council to the state legislature, to the governor's office, all the regulatory agencies in between, all government officials become constitutionally bound to protect the environmental rights of all the people of the state, and they must protect those rights equitably. No more environmental sacrifice zones. If you have an environmental sacrifice zone where a community of color, an indigenous community, or a low-income community is being disproportionately impacted by highly polluting industrial operations, well, you may have a constitutional question that needs to be addressed. With a constitutional green amendment added to the New Jersey state constitution, we will reorient government action and decision-making so it is focused on prevention of harm first, not just jumping to the end of the process and saying, oops, it's going to happen. So what permits will we issue to allow it? And with the right language, we can secure meaningful generational protection. We can truly protect the environmental rights of future generations. We can protect natural resources for future generations. We can help ensure that our future generations do have a safe climate in which they can enjoy their lives. And having an obligation to protect the environmental rights of future generations is not just aspirational when you have it in a constitutional green amendment. It is meaningful, it is legal, and it is enforceable. And we've proven that in the state of Pennsylvania, where we have this kind of language. When we have a green amendment added to the New Jersey state constitution, all of the laws that are already on the books are going to be strengthened, because now it's not just going to be up to the agencies how clean is clean when it comes to clean water or clean air. They're going to have to be interpreting and applying that language in service to their constitutional duty to protect the environmental rights of the people, knowing that if they don't define it properly or fairly or equitably, that the people have the ultimate power to challenge their bad decision or action in court. When there's a gap in the law, when there's a deficiency, when there's a loophole, a law doesn't provide people the protections they need, the people are going to be able to turn to their constitutional right to clean water and clean air to try to get a remedy. When our government officials get it wrong, people will get access to the courts to challenge bad government decision-making. And it's not just about strengthening the law, it's about strengthening advocacy and activists fighting for the environment, because now when they're fighting for the people and the earth that they love, they're also going to be fighting for a constitutional entitlement. So it will change their own rights, their own sense of strength as they advocate for the environment. But they're also going to know that everybody on the decision-making dais to whom they're speaking is actually going to have to listen to them now. Can't be dismissive of their advocacy for the environment, because now all of those government officials to whom they are advocating have a constitutional obligation to protect the environmental rights of the people and the natural resources of the state. This is a nationwide movement that starts with state leadership. We're going state by state by state to get the passage of constitutional green amendments, and ultimately we'll seek to get one in the federal constitution. Right now, there are 3 states with green amendments: Pennsylvania, Montana, and New York, but more and more states are coming on board seeking this powerful protection as well. New Jersey was at the head of the pack. The New Jersey Green Amendment proposal was put forth November 30th of 2017. But because of, frankly, I consider it an abuse of political power and the failure by those in leadership in New Jersey government, by their decision refusing to schedule hearings for the Green Amendment, it has not progressed in all the time that it's been proposed. New York, who proposed a Green Amendment after New Jersey, already has their Green Amendment in place, and it's making a powerful difference for the people who are utilizing it to secure otherwise unachievable protections. This is the language that's been put forth for New Jersey, that every person has a right to a clean and healthy environment, including pure water, clean air, ecologically healthy habitats, that the state has an obligation to protect the natural resources of the state for both present and future generations, that it must serve as trustee in protecting the state's natural resources for the benefit of all the people, which means not for industry profits or their own political agendas. It means for the people. And then there's other powerful language that's critically important, and why, if this amendment was added to the New Jersey state constitution, it would bring transformational change to environmental protection in the state. Right now, more than half the entire New Jersey legislature are signed on as co-sponsors of the amendment, but yet a limited few are refusing to put the amendment up for a hearing at the committee level. No hearing, no vote, no progress. And the people have been stripped of their voice here in the state of New Jersey. Does it really make a difference? Yes. So, you know, we heard about the 16 youth that were able to challenge a Montana state law that prohibited government officials from considering the climate crisis in their decision-making in the state. And as a result, we're able to quite easily continue to perpetuate and grow dirty fossil fuel extraction, transportation, processing, and utilization with devastating consequences. But because Montana has a green amendment protecting the environmental rights of the people, these 16 youth were able to grab onto their constitutional entitlement to a clean and healthful environment to get that law overturned. Now, Montana government officials not just can consider the climate crisis in their decision-making, but they actually have to. This is the first time that we've had a victory where climate was sort of the core argument with a green amendment, but it's not the first green amendment or the first victory where green amendments have made a difference. In the state of Pennsylvania, we defeated a devastatingly pro-fracking law that had been put forth by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania over a decade ago. We overturned this law as being unconstitutional. In Montana, as well as in Pennsylvania, but specifically in Montana, there have been industrial gold mining operation permits that would have allowed industrial gold mining operations in sensitive ecosystems with serious impacts for the environment, for ecotourism, and for communities. These permits have been voided because they were violating the constitutional entitlements of the people. And those permits, they were voided and they were never reissued. And I suspect that's because they couldn't do it in a way that would also protect environmental rights. In Pennsylvania, we've used the Green Amendment to secure cleanup of a long ignored toxic site. And in the state of New York, they're already using their Green Amendment, which is less than 2 years old, in a lot of powerful ways, including to address hazardous air emissions and greenhouse gas emissions coming off of a rapidly expanding landfill where the state is just ignoring the pleas of the community to have their clean air protected. And it's not just people and organizations that are grabbing hold of the Green Amendment to secure critical environmental protections. Municipal officials in the state in Marple Township outside of Philadelphia use their Green Amendment to protect their last piece of natural green space from a devastating development operation. And both Pennsylvania and Montana government officials have used their Green Amendments in different ways to provide critical protections to drinking water supplies. So this is a powerful movement sweeping the nation. New Jersey could be at the forefront if it chose to. The website is forthegenerations.org for the national movement, njgreenamendment.org if you want to see what's happening in New Jersey. There's a Green Amendment Action app. You can find that on the website. And of course, there's the book, The Green Amendment, The People's Fight for a Clean, Safe, and Healthy Environment. And I write about the state of New Jersey a lot in the book. So if you're interested, every penny of profit goes to the Green Amendment movement and will help us get a Green Amendment here in the state of New Jersey.